Vladimir Putin must be executed. Vladimir Putin must be assassinated. This is my podcast, getting into the specifics of the the quote quote in parentheses special military operation, which is in my opinion bullshit. I personally believe that Putin is undoubtedly a war criminal, a mass human rights violator, and a very evil human. And I don't care if you're Russian. I think most people could agree with what I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to give you some very good reasons as to why Vladimir Putin needs to be immediately killed. And hopefully, hopefully this video gets a lot of views. I think that spreading my ideas, as extreme as they may be, I think it's a good way to make true change in the world, because I too often don't see people doing things and saying things that they should in order to bring change. So I will, and I will honestly, openly say I believe that Vladimir Putin should be killed immediately, along with everyone in the Russian parliament, as well as all of Vladimir Putin's relatives, should all be immediately killed in a thermonuclear strike, or a sarin gas attack on Moscow, or something like that. Which might be, you might find that to be extreme, but I believe that it's necessary. But to avoid United Nations law breaking, I would say that it would be best to go with thermobaric strikes on Moscow, or maybe like sniping Putin from a building in Moscow, something like that. I think would be optimal. But Vladimir Putin is he's a scourge. He's a stain. He's a nasty fucking stain that won't go away. And he followed the he was a part of the KGB, and he was a very big fan of the USSR, and the one that obviously caused 40-50 million people to be massacred by Stalin. Also, Putin has he did state that the quote special military operation in Ukraine would last for a few weeks at most, or maybe even months. I think he said at one point, and it's gone on for 2 years. It's gonna go probably for another 2 or 4 or 5 years. Vladimir Putin always threatens nuclear strikes if ballistic missiles enter his country. He has a long record of poisoning enemies, adversaries, political opponents with polonium, or other deadly substances. Since of course he used to work for the KGB, he's all about poisoning people. And he has a long track record of doing that, of silently killing enemies of his. He downed a plane of someone from I think it's called the Wagner Group, the leader of the Wagner Group. He had that plane shot down, blown up. And he's also committed many other human rights violations. These penal colonies in Antarctica, they shouldn't exist. In my opinion, it goes against United Nations regulations, and for that reason, Russia should be heavily fined for the penal colonies in Antarctica. which go against, in my opinion, they go against United Nations agreements. I just don't think that he should have, any of his nuclear submarines or any of his cargo stations there or anything. Nothing in Antarctica. The only thing that I think should be allowed there are labs, research facilities that are non-military based to any degree whatsoever. But Vladimir Putin has also a long track record of oh man, I'm not even gonna get into it. There's so much to go over, but the point is Vladimir Putin is a sociopathic narcissist. He's a lot like Austrian painter from 1930s and 1940s. He's a lot like the leader of the Third Reich, he who shall not be named. Vladimir Putin strongly resembles that man. Putin's probably going to end up invading Poland and then all of Europe, just like Austrian painter, German leader from the Third Reich. It wouldn't surprise me. But Vladimir Putin has long indulged in very greedy things. He's always owned a lot of expensive cars and very expensive properties. He owns like the only, I think, $1 billion mansion in the world. He owns many I think multi-billion-dollar yachts and stuff, like super yachts, and his extremely lavish lifestyle to me screams degeneracy and selfishness. And most of his people are in between poverty and extreme poverty in Russia. Russia really is a pretty poor place. Most of the places outside of Moscow are kind of poor. Everything looks run down and just depressing. It's a dystopian country where most of the people are poor and heavily brainwashed sociologically. And I hear all the time about Russian crime networks and things I won't get into, but I've heard a lot of negative things just about the citizen side of Russia, not even including the governmental side. But Vladimir Putin has completely fucked up Russia, and the inflations are getting worse, and he's making more enemies. I'm pretty sure that Xi Jinping, the leader of China, is pretty pissed off at Putin for the war in Ukraine, and him backing Iran, with the Iranian government kind of openly chanting, death to Israel, death to all Jews, I don't know. In my opinion, and to go even further than all that I've said just now, Vladimir Putin has for a long time aided in taking in war criminals and human rights violators. Whether you agree with Edward Snowden or not, whether you think he's a hero or not, I don't think the guy's that bad, but still, Vladimir Putin took in Edward Snowden, who was being hunted down by the CIA. He took in Assad, the leader, the ex-leader of Syria, that cowardice bastard, that committed gas attacks and mass tortured and murdered his own civilians, and who had statues of his father and himself built, and he had a lot of portraits of himself everywhere. That sociopathic, narcissistic cunt, Assad, fled to Russia and is currently hiding there. And in my opinion, if Putin is willing to side with these types of people, then that tells me everything I need to know about Putin, and to me, pretty much warrants, his death. It, in my eyes, is all I need to know that he should not be allowed to live. And so, I'm calling for the extermination of Putin. And if anyone wants to help me out in my plan to assassinate Putin, please let me know in the comments section. I was thinking it would be a good idea to use polonium-210 to poison and kill Putin, since he's used that on his enemies. I think it would be quite ironic and funny to see Putin die from liver cancer or something from polonium-210, or just die from radiation sickness, have all his hair fall out, even though he's balding anyway. But I think that poisoning Vladimir Putin with sarin gas or polonium-210 would be a very funny outcome. And there's also been many reported war crimes involving Russia and bioweapons and neuroweapons in the Middle East, and so on. There's so many things I could go over, but I don't have enough time. But anyway, Vladimir Putin is a scourge. He's a fucking degenerate worm, and nobody in the world wants Putin. Nobody wants him alive. Nobody wants him here. He's a waste of life, and I want him dead. And I hope that others help aid me in assassinating Putin, because I'm willing to take things extremely far. I'm willing to take things as far as a human can possibly go to ensure Putin dies. And I think it would be quite useful if someone would help me plan an assassination on Putin, to avenge the people of Ukraine, to avenge the impoverished, oppressed citizens of Russia and all those others throughout the world. Putin is a curse. He's a degenerate, ugly, worthless piece of shit, and everyone hates him. And I think his death would be celebrated all throughout Russia. Believe it or not, that's my theory, if he were to die. So yeah, hashtag fuck Putin, kill Putin. And let me know, give me some good advice for how to assassinate Putin in the comment section down below. I'm willing to take any advice I can get. And I believe we can get away with this. I believe we can evade certain United Nations regulations and American laws by joining some co-effort secretly with the Central Intelligence Agency. They always side with extremist rebel groups, and hopefully, if we could set up some sort of little rebel group, the CIA could assist us in assassinating Vladimir Putin, and we could get away with it legally, without any criminal offenses. Russia, the Russian government would probably come after me, but who cares? Putin needs to die. So yeah, that's all. Like, comment, subscribe, and check out my other videos. I make some great content. So yeah.